Class 9, Subject Science, Lecture number 3. In this lecture, I would be discussing the solutions of those NCERT questions in which you might face any kind of problem. Now, starting from the in-text questions given on page number 18, question number 2 is, how are soul, solution and suspension different from each other? In this question, you people might face problem in understanding what is soul here. Soul is basically a colloid. It is a colloid in which the dispersed phase and dispersed medium, they both are solids. So now we need to differentiate among colloid, solution and suspension. Now the question becomes very easy. You can differentiate easily. So I'm telling the answer also. You can match your answers. Soul, solution and suspension. You need to make a table. Then you can write down the differences among all three. In case of soul, the particle size of the solute is in between 10 raised to minus 9 meter to 10 raised to minus 6 meter. In case of solution, the particle size of the solute is less than 10 raised to minus 9 meter. In case of suspension, the particle size of the solute is more than 10 raised to minus 6 meter. Soul is heterogeneous in nature, solution is homogeneous in nature, and suspension is also heterogeneous in nature. Soul, the particles are visible under a microscope. In case of solution, the particles are not visible under the powerful optical microscope, and in case of suspension, the particles are visible to naked eye. Soul is translucent, solution is clear and transparent, and suspension is opaque. Soul is stable, solution is very stable, and suspension is unstable. In case of soul, Tyndall effect is observed. In case of solution, Tyndall effect is not observed. In case of suspension, Tyndall effect, it may or may not be observed. Then at the last, you can write down the examples. In case of soul, that is actually basically a colloid. Milk, butter, foam, cloud. That are the examples of soul. In case of solution, examples are salt in water, sugar in water. In case of suspension, you can write down the examples of chalk powder in water. Another example you can write down of wheat flour and water. Now moving on to the next question. On the same page number 18, there is a question, there is a numerical in question number 3. To make a saturated solution, 36 gram of sodium chloride is dissolved in 100 gram of water at 293 Kelvin. Now find its concentration at this temperature. So apply this formula, mass by mass percentage, that is equal to mass of solute by mass of solution into 100. So mass of solute is given, that is 36 gram of sodium chloride, and mass of solution, that you know. How you know mass of solution? How to calculate? Mass of solute plus mass of solvent, that is 36 gram of sodium chloride plus 100 gram of water. That will give 136 gram, that is equal to mass of solution. So just substitute the values, you will get the answer. 36 by 136 into 100. So that will be equal to 26.47%. Do not forget to put the sign of percentage. There is a question in now I'm talking about the exercise questions given on page number 28, question number 3. A graph is given to you. The question is, Pragya tested the solubility of 3 different substances at different temperatures and collected the following data, which is given below. Now your given data is potassium nitrate, sodium chloride, potassium chloride and ammonium chloride. These are the substances dissolved, and 283, 293, 313, 333 and 353. These are the temperatures given in Kelvin. And solubility is given then 21, 36, 35, 24 and remaining these. These are the solubility given. Now the questions are asked, what mass of potassium nitrate would be needed to produce a saturated solution of potassium nitrate in 50 gram of water at 313 Kelvin. So the first part you can see from here, the temperature is given 313 Kelvin and potassium nitrate. So that is solubility is showing a potassium nitrate at 313 Kelvin, that is 62 grams. So at 313 Kelvin it is 62 grams. So 62 grams, solubility is 62 grams at 313 Kelvin. So now can you calculate the solubility of the same substance, that is potassium nitrate, in 50 grams at the same temperature? You can apply the unitary method here. Mass of potassium nitrate required to produce a saturated solution in 100 gram of water at 318 Kelvin, that is equal to 62 gram. So in 1 gram it will be 62 by 100 and you have to calculate of 50. So just multiply it 50 using unitary method. So answer is 31 gram of potassium nitrate. Now B part. B part is saying that Pragya makes a saturated solution of potassium chloride at 353 Kelvin and leaves the solution to cool at room temperature. So what would she observe as the solution cools down? Now, if the solution is cooling down means the temperature is decreasing. So what you will see that some amount of dissolved potassium chloride, they will reappear as undissolved solid as solubility of the solute decreases with decrease in temperature. As the temperature decreases, the solubility decreases, so that amount of potassium chloride that will reappear as undissolved solid. This is the answer of B part. Now third part is find the solubility of each salt. You need to find the solubility of each salt. Temperature is given 293 Kelvin and which salt at the highest solubility at this same temperature, that is 293 Kelvin. So we will observe the data first. See, 293 Kelvin, the solubilities are 32, 36, 35 and 37. So these are the solubilities given at the temperature 293. Now which substance has the highest solubility? So from this given data, which is the highest solubility? That is ammonium chloride, that is 37 at 293 Kelvin. That is the answer of C part. Now the last part is what is the effect of the change of temperature on the solubility of salt? The question is saying if there is any change in temperature, if we are increasing or decreasing the temperature, what will be that effect on the solubility of salt? So from the given table, it is observed that the solubility of the salt increases with increase in temperature. So as the temperature increases, the solubility of the salt increases. And when the saturation point has been reached at that particular temperature, more amount of solute means more amount of salt can be dissolved, and that can be only done by increasing the temperature of the solution. So what is the effect? Increasing temperature will increase the solubility of that salt. So done with this question. Now question number 5 given on page number 29. Classify each of the following as homogeneous or heterogeneous mixture. So you are given soda water, wood, air, soil, vinegar and filter tea. Now you have to classify them as homogeneous or heterogeneous mixture. So what you will observe that soda water, air, vinegar and filtered tea, these are all homogeneous mixture, because in case of soda water there is homogeneity of carbon dioxide and water, and in case of air that is a homogeneous mixture. But if in question it is written pure polluted air, that will be heterogeneous. But here since the question is only air, it means the air is pure, so it is homogeneous. Vinegar is also homogeneous because it is a mixture of acetic acid and water, means the composition is uniform and we cannot distinguish vinegar from the water. Filtered tea is also homogeneous mixture because the composition is uniform throughout. So and the remaining one, what are these remaining one? Wood, soil, these are heterogeneous mixture because in wood there is different concentration of water, tea sap, oxygen and all the compounds or the elements, they are mixed in different proportion throughout this mixture. That's why wood is heterogeneous mixture. And in case of soil also, all the particles, whether it's of minerals, sand particles, pebbles, they are distributed non-uniformly. The composition is non-uniform. That's why soil is also a heterogeneous mixture. Question number 6. How would you confirm that a colorless liquid given to you is pure water? You know, you have studied in the first chapter that the pure water, the boiling point is 100 degrees Celsius. So if you are given a liquid, a colorless liquid, and you need to confirm whether this liquid is pure water or not, you can confirm by the boiling point. If the boiling point is slightly above or below 100 degrees Celsius, it means the given liquid is not pure. But if it is pure, it would boil at 100 degrees Celsius. So by observing the boiling point, we can confirm whether a given colorless liquid is pure or not. Now next question is question number 9. Which of the following will show the Tyndall effect? You have studied that only the colloids, they show Tyndall effect. So among salt solution, milk, copper sulfate solution and starch solution, what are colloids here? Only two are colloids, milk and starch solution. So milk and starch solution, they will show the Tyndall effect, and the rest, that is salt solution and copper sulfate solution, that will not show the Tyndall effect. Why? Because these are true solutions, and true solutions, they do not show Tyndall effect. So that's it for today.